Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this webinar. We're going to be talking about how to get the best messages out from LinkedIn so you get the most replies. So when you're joining me, please do say hello. I can see quite a few of you in the chat already. So hi, Shelba. Hi, Kate. Hi, Kelly. Hi, Laurie. And Mike, yes, there will be a recording of the event. Hi, Renato from Portugal. Awesome to have you here. So just whilst we're getting everything settled and everybody's getting here, I'm Dean Seddon. I'm the founder of MAVERRIK. I'm going to be walking you through some of the things that I do to get the best responses from outreach on LinkedIn. And I'm going to show you a couple of things that you may not have considered before, and I'm going to show you how to do them in real time. So I'm going to share my screen and show you how to do it. Now, I'm talking to a camera right now, but you are watching me, and I'd love for you to just keep interacting in the chat, asking questions, because we'll all learn and grow together in this session. So if you're keen, you want to get new clients, responses matter. So I'm going to share my screen in a few minutes, but let me know in the chat what are your biggest frustrations with messaging people on LinkedIn. Put them in the chat. What's your biggest frustrations with messaging people on LinkedIn? And I'm going to make sure I'm going to answer as many of those in today's session. So if you say it's X, I will show you a tip for X. So put it in the chat now. I'll look through and keep them there. And I can see a lively bunch this afternoon. Hi, Gary. Hi, Bernard. Hi, Lawrence. Hi, Charlie. Getting no response. Charlie, that's a bang on answer. I'm going to show you how to fix that in today's session. No response, Will. Yeah, really key point. Now, or a thumbs up emoji. That's the worst one, isn't it? When you send a message and you get the thumbs up or you get a thanks. So annoying, right? But getting no response. Yeah, getting no response. Right. Reaching the right target sector. Yeah, absolutely. So a lot of us are dealing with the getting no response thing, right? People just ignore you, or they respond to the bit of the message that was friendly and ignore the business bit, right? Yeah, it's like, that's a thing, right? Now, I'm going to walk you through some of the ways you can fix that, some of the ways you can improve that. But ultimately, right, sales is a numbers game. And whilst we don't want to be playing massive numbers, we want to get the best results from the smallest number of messages. In other words, how do we get more replies per 100 messages? And that's really what I'm going to show you today. I'm going to show you some tactics that will actually help you get better responses. And Will Barnett, who I know quite well. Well, I don't know quite well. I know him on LinkedIn. Will, I don't know if you're up for playing guinea pig. I know I'm putting you on the spot here, but if you're up for playing guinea pig, I'll use your profile as a demo for my messaging. Don't worry, I'm not going to do anything naughty with you. Just let me know if it's okay, Will. I'll just send the message to you as an example for everybody else to see, if that's all right, Will. Just let me know in the chat. I know I've kind of put you on the spot, so apologies. Don't fall out with me. So messaging, getting no response is really tough. So I'm going to devote, given that that's the key thing that everybody's saying here. Yeah. Getting more responses from non-related business pieces. No reply if they accepted the message. Yes, fine. Yeah. Don't get me banned. I won't. So I'm going to focus on this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Will as the example when I'm sending the messages to show you how this thing works. Now, the catch for today, right? I've not got this product to sell you and go, buy now, and there's only 5 left and all that crazy stuff. What I'm going to say is if you're serious about nailing social selling, let's talk after this session. So you can drop me an email. My email's on screen. Or you can send me a connection request and a message. And if you're really serious about nailing social selling, let's have a conversation. So that's the only catch I've got for you today. I'm going to give everything away. The strategy is in doing it fast and doing it successfully. So let me share my screen and show you some stuff. And then we're going to turn Will into a guinea pig. And I promise, Will, I am not going to get you banned. So this is a method that I developed a number of years ago, and I'm going to share it with you now. And I've been teaching this to salespeople forever. Let me just share my screen. I've been teaching this method to sellers for a long time now. So why do you find it hard to get responses from prospects? Well, it's not entirely about actually you wrote a bad message. Let's just give yourself a break here, right? It's not entirely about did you send them a crappy message. That's not why most people don't get responses. Actually, one of the biggest issues is, and maybe you can answer me in the chat if you agree with me here, LinkedIn's inbox is pretty crappy, right? It's pretty crappy. And it's really easy to miss messages. That's the first thing, right? It's really easy to miss messages. Anybody had that experience of forgetting messages, losing messages, not remembering where they are, or getting them? And it's like, I've never seen this message before. This wasn't there before. The message inbox is not great. The experience is not great for a user, and it's not great for a recipient. So it's really easy for your messages to fall through the cracks. Yeah, I can see some people agree with that. So that's the first thing that's going on, right? The message inbox is a bit of a mess. The second thing is you, me, and everybody else is getting all sorts of random crap sent to us in our inbox. Just today, I've had somebody offering mobile app development, software development, buy certificates for qualifications. I've had somebody trying to sell me lead generation. I've had all of these things going on. And in the middle of all of those messages is you and me who actually go, I can help that person. So there's a crappy inbox experience. There's noise, other people, and then there's us. And of course, people are busy. So we've got a lot of things going on, and our message has got to kind of navigate round through all of those things. So what I wanted to kind of put on, yes, and Will's just raised a good point. If you're using Sales Navigator, you've got two inboxes to manage. And I've seen scenarios, it doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen, where you send a message in Sales Navigator, the reply comes in the normal LinkedIn box, and then you reply, and the message disappears in the inbox and ends up in Sales Navigator. So it is a bit of a mess, right? There are problems. So don't think, oh, I've crafted the message and I cocked the message up. I'm going to show you some messaging tactics that will help you in this session. The other thing I'm going to share here today, just before we get into this, is I have this little worksheet or guide here. If you want it, I can send it to you on email. It's 39 different ways to build your email list. I've got it in cards, right? Look at that. Look how cool that is. Somebody made this for me today, right? 39 ways to grow your email list. If you're in our Growth Titans community, you get this anyway. But if you're not in that, think about subscribing. But you can get it if you message us or email us in, and we'll send you the 39 ways to grow your email list. It's actually easy to build an email list on LinkedIn. So look, let me just talk about this 7 steps of social selling for a minute, because this is how you can improve the response rate of your messaging. And then I'm going to show you some specific tactics that you can employ to get higher response rates. So, obviously, I don't need to go into every bit of detail here, because you're here for messaging. You're here because if I'm sending 100 messages and getting one good bite, the logic is, well, if I could send 200, I could get 2 bites. Actually, there's another way to think about it. What could I do to send 50 messages and get 3 or 4 bites? How do I get more responses from fewer messages? Because if you can do that, that means you've got more people you can potentially talk to and less people saying no or thumbs up. So I'm going to walk you through this strategy. I'm going to show you some things about how to do it that will improve your response rate. Our team do these, and they're getting at about a meeting booking rate, because we all do meetings here. We don't do like e-commerce stuff. It's meetings with prospects, discuss what they need, make a proposal, follow up. That's our business. We're not into this click and buy thing. So all of our business is probably very similar to yours. So we have to get people onto a call, and from a call, then we can find out their needs and see how we fit for them if we do. So our meeting booking rate from our team is around 10%. So 10% meeting booking rate from outreach is not bad, right? It could be probably better if we extended the process, but that's quite a short and sweet and quick process. And I'm going to show you that today. So obviously you're growing your network. Yeah, you're finding the leads, tracking them. Hopefully you're tracking them. Please tell me you're tracking them. You know, who you're connected with and who you're working on at any given time. You're growing your network and getting connected. Now, I'm just going to give you one big, huge tip here, by the way. The response rate of in-mails, by that I mean when you send a message to a second degree or third degree, are atrocious. In-mails, paid messages, shall we say, generally only work if you've got something super hyper relevant to that individual. If it's not super hyper relevant to that individual, they don't perform. So a generic message as an in-mail or a long-winded message, 5,000 characters I think you can use, don't work. The response rates are really low, really, really low. So we want to connect with those people. If we don't connect, we don't get the chance to interact with them and do some things that will actually improve our reply rate. And that's really what we're focused on. If I can get more replies, 9 times out of 10, people will say to me, if I can just get them onto a call, we do really well when we're on the calls. The hard bit is getting people on the calls. Everybody says that, right? Everybody I meet says that. So I say, well, let's try and not just try and get more calls. How do we get better success with the messages that we're already sending? So this is where, and I'm just going to throw some things in to improve your response rate. So the fact that I show up on the platform on a regular basis and post content, I get a better response rate than most people, right? It's just a proven fact. I could do a competition with you and I would get more responses because I'm more visible and more known to my prospects. Now, I'm not advocating you all become content creators here. I'm just stating a fact. If you are posting content on a regular basis, it will improve the response rate because people will be more familiar with you. They will get to know you. They will see you. Likewise, if you take some time to build a interaction that's non-salesy before your outreach message, that could have been a month before, 2 months before, it could be last week, that will improve your response rate. So all these little things can just marginally improve. So if you're still going to do things exactly the same way, and you said, I'm going to post content and I'm going to interact with that prospect about nothing to do with sales a couple of times, my response rate will increase. If I start to share value in the messages, white papers, blogs and stuff like that, that might be useful, specifically useful before I ask for a meeting, not literally before, not the hours or minutes before, but a few days before, and I share something and then follow that up, I get a higher response rate. So whatever you do before the message can nudge you up a little bit. So that's key for understanding your LinkedIn activity. If you're just connecting and messaging, that's got a 0.6% response rate. If you're posting and engaging prospects in non-sales activity, commenting, interacting, sharing something, asking questions in the messages, whether or not they reply, by the way, it's irrelevant. But if you do it, you get a better response rate. That's just the craziness of this, right? In other words, if you ask people, how's the weather, and they ignore you, and then you, a week or so later, send a message to the same group of people that you asked how's the weather, you'd get a higher response rate. right? So it's really strange because you think, well, they've ignored me, so why would I do it again? It works. Yeah. So the key thing is not to try and pitch, because they'll say no thanks and they kill you in their tracks. So you can use different interactions to warm them up before you actually ask. And that has a better response rate. So this phase here, content can help. This phase here, value pieces can help, you know, a white paper or a industry article or a blog you've written. Anything like that will actually nudge things up. Right? Significantly, by the way. We're not talking about, oh, I sent 100 messages and I got 1, and now I've got 100 messages and I got 2. We're talking about 3 or 4% increases. So we're talking like quadrupling your response rate just by doing that. Most people don't do it. And the reason why they don't do it is they don't see the value in it. And whether or not you see the value in it is almost irrelevant. It's the fact that it works. In other words, if you do a series of different things before you ask for a meeting, you get better responses. If you pitch, you get no thanks, and then it's dead in the water because you're then going, well, how do I go back to them? Or I have to wait a long time to let them forget about it and go back to them. It's just little bits of interactions beforehand changes the game in terms of the response rate. Now, when we come to messaging, right, we've got to understand that we are competing for attention. Our message might be the best. We might be super targeted, but we are loaded in with all the nonsense. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I approach it, and I'm going to do it on Will. And Will's thinking, God, I wish I'd never come to this webinar now. Right? But I'll do it on Will because he knows me and hopefully he'll forgive me. But Will I've known for a little while, only through LinkedIn, by the way. So he's getting some free advertising here. Great on strategy. Here's your promo, Will. Strategy. So let's say Will's my prospects and I've connected with him, right? So I've connected with Will, my prospect, right? So I could do all sorts of stuff, but Kaylee's just asked a really good question. So Kaylee's just asked thoughts on an effective connection message. So Kaylee, here's the weird thing, right? I'm seeing a lot of really odd connection messages like, oh, you have an impressive profile, or your expertise is outstanding. And that for me just grates. So I would always recommend when I'm training sales teams, I say to them, if you've got something really relevant to say, then absolutely go ahead and say it. If it's something that you could say to dozens and dozens of people, or something that you could say to different role people, different industry people, say nothing. Very roughly, the acceptance rate on LinkedIn, sending a connection request without a message is about 20-25%. So 1 in 5 to 1 in 4 will connect with you whether or not you have a message. So it's only the people, if you've got something really relevant to say and are not a pitch, is it worth using a message? The generic ones are like, it's telltale sign you're just trying to connect with me to pitch me. It's telltale. So Will has connected with me, right? So my first thing before I do anything else is I'm going to look at Will's breadcrumbs, right? Go with me here. I'm going to look at the breadcrumbs on his profile to give me an indication of how active is Will. Because half the time we might be messaging people who haven't shown up and then our message gets buried. So the first strategy I will look at is, does Will have active status? The green dot or the green donut tells us active status is there, so they are showing up on almost a daily basis. Active status. So that's that green dot, if you weren't familiar. Then the next thing I do, and LinkedIn's actually modified the feed for this, which makes it brilliant. Yeah. Cynthia has asked a question. I'll come to that in a second, Cynthia, about how often people check their messages. But here we go. So LinkedIn brought out this feature here. Give Will a like whilst I'm here, where you can actually look at their reactions. So Will liked this 5 days ago, and comments. So I can see Will commented on this 2 minutes ago. Yep. So I can see Will was here today. He's here right now. So this is the time to message. This is a good time to message. Now, with other people, I might not know. I might not have the active status. I might not have the indications of likes and comments. If there's no likes and no comments, no posts, no active status in the last 30 days, you've met what's called a LinkedIn zombie, right? And a LinkedIn zombie is like a Hail Mary. In other words, you have no idea if they'll ever see this message at all. No idea. So we look for these markers to tell us who are the best people to message on LinkedIn. Now, if I'm just building relationships with Will and saying, how's things, Will? I'll just give you an example. How's things, Will? Keep him busy, right? And you're looking at that and going, Dean, what the hell are you saying here? You'd be surprised how many people will respond to this kind of sales chit chat. It's non-salesy, but it's what you're doing, right? This kind of activity, you might think this is a waste of time. Let's cut to the chase. No, this is getting you a sense of how long does it take for them to reply? What's the best time to catch them? If they reply, brilliant. If they don't, thanks, Will, right? But now I know Will, in this scenario, responds really fast. I know he responds really fast. So what I'm looking at is doing this to kind of two things: break the ice and go, you're a bit more familiar with me. But I'm also using it to test how responsive is Will. Is he quick? Is he slow? Whatever. Now, somebody asked a question over on YouTube, and I'll come to this question. It's a really good one. Do I know how often a person checks their LinkedIn messages? Right? I can tell you what my experience has been. My experience has been that people check their LinkedIn a bit like most social media, is they flick through all the buttons and notifications. And typically people come onto LinkedIn mid-morning, lunchtime, and late afternoon, and then evening. So in essence, people would flick through LinkedIn on average, probably 4 times in a day. Yeah, they'd visit 4 times in a day and flick and see what's there. That's typically what happens. Now, when it comes down to messaging, I got these stats earlier today, believe it or not. The average person spends less than 29% of people spend more than 8 seconds reading a message. 71% of people spend less than 8 seconds, right? So suddenly you're thinking, geez, I was going to swear then, geez, my messages are way too long. So this is the first big tip here. Your messages are too long. So the more you start to create conversation rather than sending messages, broadcasting, and the quicker you can get your words out, shorter and more concisely, the more effective it will be. You'll notice when I did the message to Will, I didn't write it like an email. Do not force formality onto people. LinkedIn messages are not emails. They are personal. They are on people's phones. They're on people's phones. You're not just sending an email to their work computer. You're putting yourself into their world. And so when they're on this, which is the vast majority of people on LinkedIn, when they're on this, it's more than just work. It's a little bit personal too. And if you forget that, you miss an opportunity. So I will often talk in a very conversational tone. I will very rarely use their name, right? And you're going to go, what? This is crazy, Dean. Would I, contacting somebody I know on LinkedIn or on WhatsApp, an acquaintance, would I go, "Dear Dean," in WhatsApp? Would I, heck? Now, I wouldn't push myself on people as soon as I connected, but if I've interacted a couple of times, my formality would drop. Now, if Will's active right now, yeah, hopefully you're all still with me and I've not put you to sleep yet. If they're active right now, so I'm here right now, Will's active, I want to make high impact, right? I can go for, oh, Will's done this to me, right? The classic thumbs up, right? There's a couple of ways I can be a little bit interesting, and I'm going to do it right now, and hopefully Will will play along. So Will, don't answer this one just yet, because I want you to kind of play along with me. So one of the things I love doing, and if you're connected with me, you'll know this, because anybody who connects with me, I send them a personal one-to-one voice note, because I'm sad like that. Hi, Will. Thanks for the thumbs up. Not sure. I'm assuming that's all good with you. Look, I'd love to talk to you about what you're doing in your business on the strategy side, because I think LinkedIn is massive for you. And let's cut to the chase. Rather than dance around it, you can keep playing around with it, or we can show you how to really make it work. So let's have a conversation. Are you free next Thursday at 2? Would that work for you? Reply back to me and let me know, and I'll ping over the calendar invite. Let's have 30 minutes. I'll show you what's possible, and then you can see if this works out for what you're trying to achieve. Right, so I've just sent a 42-second voice message to Will. Now, you might think, oh, that seems a bit weird. Look how that looks. Will, don't do anything with that just yet, but look how it looks, right? If Will says, "Thanks, Dean," right? So if Will says now, "Thanks, Dean," hopefully he'll put it in, "Thanks, Dean," the usual kind of brush off that you get. I've proposed a time. Yep, so I've proposed a time in that message, Thursday at 2. So if Will replies with any form of reply, right, thanks, thumbs up, anything like that, I can take that as an affirmative, right? Because I've asked them, are they free at 2? Reply back. And here's the lesson. One very clear call to action, right? Yeah, really simple. I made any reply mean yes. It was so clear. It's so obvious, right? Because I've been direct. Now, I'm not saying you do this with a complete stranger. It wouldn't be the first thing you do after you connect. But if you can interact with people a couple of times and then be very direct, very clear, I can help you with this problem. I can see an opportunity for you. Can we have a conversation? Now, there is another approach to this. That's the direct version. That's me. I prefer to do that kind of straightforward shoot from the hip. But I won't do it early on. I will let them engage, and I'll do some kind of general chit chat before I will say, look, let's just nail this. Let's just nail this. We've chatted a couple of times. I can see what you're trying to achieve. Let's have a conversation about it, and I can show you what we're capable of. That's the first one. Very, very direct. But you'll notice I use the voice message. Anybody want to guess why I use the voice message? Anybody want to guess why I use the voice message? Why is the voice message, even though it feels a bit weird, why would I use the voice message? And all of you are going, "Ooh, I don't want to do voice messages." Here's why I would use voice messages. If anybody wants to guess, put it in the chat. But the reason why voice messages are so cool, yeah. Sorry, Charlie just said, okay, perfect. What's your email? I'll send you the invite. I would actually go one step further. Yeah, I would actually go one step further, and we can find emails addresses now. So you could literally just send the invite. So if you say, yeah, this is perfect, I'll send you the invite, send the calendar invite. Yeah. The reason why voice messages are so good and so effective, Will has no idea what I'm saying there. He has no idea. So he has to listen to find out what I'm talking about. And the great thing about human beings is we are so flipping curious, we have to know. We have to know. And this leads me to another tip. Don't tell people how amazing you are. Tell them something that could be really amazing for them and say, I want to show you this and talk this through. Are you free for a call? In other words, dangle a carrot for the call. Dangle a carrot for the call. What's in it for them to come? Why are they giving you 30 minutes of their time? What do they want from that call? Right? It's not to buy your service. They want to get to a goal, and this might just be the thing. That's all you need to get a meeting. The prospect to think this could be something for us. Not is something, could be. Right? Could be. If you tell people this could be the thing for you, they go, oh, you're full of crap. Yeah. It's curiosity. Curiosity is what gets people to do things. It's not being convinced, right? It's not me telling you we work with Amazon, we work with this company, this company, this company. We're amazing, so work with us. It's about, wait, hey, this could be game changing. So this is the first one, the voice message, right? Voice message is really powerful, very different medium and brilliant. I'm going to show you another one, right? And this is called the setup. I hope you're taking notes here, right? Because this is really important. This is called the setup. So I'll use a voice message again. Hey, Will, spotted what you're trying to achieve on LinkedIn. Keen to get more business, talk to more of the right people. And I've got something that I want to show you that could get you in touch with more people looking at the strategic direction of what they're doing in their business. I've spotted you're not so active on here right now on LinkedIn. So I don't want to send a message and then you not see it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop you an email. So I'll ping you an email with it. And then I'll give you a nudge here in a couple of days, just in case, it got lost in the post or, the dog ate it. So I think this is really game changing for you if you're wanting to really speak to that senior level team and develop strategy with them, and particularly use LinkedIn. So I wanted to talk to you because I know this will be a good thing for you to have a look at. Right. So I've just done this really quick. But I've basically set myself up to email them. So if Will's not so active, I send the voice note and tell Will I'm going to email him. Will, if he sees that, will then come back. Will, it was a bit rough and ready, that one, actually, so don't listen to that one. But Will tell me to come back, but I will not send that email straight away. I will send that email tomorrow to give this message time to land. In other words, I'm banking on the fact Will see this, ignore me, and then I've set myself up to send an email to nudge him, which then forces him to look back at what was this as well. So I actually get him to talk to me twice. That's called the setup. So you basically set up, and it works well when you've got people who aren't active. You send them a voice note because it's high impact. They read the voice note where you tell them you're going to email them because you spotted they're not so active on the platform, and you tease the value. And then they go to their emails. I haven't got the email yet. And then you send the email the next day, right? That increases the responses. So you're basically giving your permission to message them twice in 24 hours. One saying, not sure you're active on here, so I'm going to drop you an email, and dangle the carrot. Then on the email, you would say, as per my message on LinkedIn, sorry if it was a bit garbled. Garbled? What was garbled? I don't know what this is about. So they missed the message. This is what I think is a really interesting opportunity for you. I'd love to show you a little bit more and talk if you've got 30 minutes. How's Thursday at 2? Dead simple. Now, all of this works if you've done some stuff to show up more. If you show up more in the feed, post content, engage with them, interact with them in different ways, you'll actually drive more responses. Yeah, Charlie, exactly. It's all mystery, right? And we forget this, that sales is not about trying to convince people of the end result, end goal by becoming a customer. We just want people to take one little step, one little step, one little step. And that's it. If we can get people to one little step, and the first step is getting them to say, go on, I'll give you 30 minutes. We know that we can do something with that on the call and take them to a proposal. And from a proposal, take them to a next meeting. We can do all of that stuff. But this little step is making them curious enough to want to come on the call, dangling a carrot without explaining it, without going into masses of detail, dangling a carrot. That's the sweet spot. Is it's not too weird and vague that it doesn't make sense to them, but it's also not too detailed that it ends up explaining everything and they go, yeah, oh, we've done that, we've seen that, we know that. The more you say in a message, the more likely they are going to say no, right? The more you say, the more likely they will say no. It's just a standard rule. Most outreach messages that are successful now have 3 lines. You ready for this? 3 lines. Compliment, observation, question. Compliment, observation, question. Yeah. So, hi, Will. I'll give you an example. All right. So I'll go to Will again. Right, I'm going to give you my outreach message to Will. So, here we go. Will is founder at Strategy Works. He's been doing it for nearly 4 years, so it's nearly his anniversary. Yeah. So, hi, Will. Spotted your really pushing things forward for the 2024 agenda for strategy. Looks great what you're doing with your content and promoting it, that kind of line. So let's think, what could I say? What could I say about Will? Right? So, I could go, hi, Will. Thought your post the other day was really good about how healthy is your strategy. Just as a question, Strategy Works, what's their plan? What's the plan for LinkedIn? You seem to be pushing for growth and you're promoting what you're doing. What's your plan for LinkedIn? Question. That's it. And I will ask that question to start the conversation and then move it into the 30 minutes on Thursday at 2. That's my go-to. Do you have 30 minutes on Thursday at 2? So I will compliment, observe, question, get a reply, and then offer the call. It's always better to do that. If you try and do it in one hit, you burn it, because basically if they ignore you, you're now chasing your last message. If you ask them a question about the plan and they ignore you, you can go back and back and back and back and back. And you only actually ask for the meeting when they respond. And you can share over and over and over. And that means you can get way more responses without just going in and asking for a meeting. So compliment and question works a treat. So I know it sounds cheesy for a Brit saying this, it's really cheesy. But if you can give them a compliment about something, anything, right? And it doesn't sound made up, like, you know, congratulations, Will, on being in Strategy Works for 3 years and 10 months, right? So it could be, Will, Spotted Strategy Works is coming up for its 4-year anniversary. Awesome achievement to build a business, especially over the last few years. Just wondering, what's your plans for the next couple of years? Is it to grow? Compliment, observation, question. Will comes back and says, oh yeah, thanks, Dean. It's been a tough old year, especially with COVID, but we are really pushing towards growth. Awesome. Would you be kind of open to looking at some ideas? I was looking at what you were doing and I had some ideas. Would you be open to looking at them? It can be that simple, right? That simple. The more you say, the more they are going to say no. The more you make it a conversation about their business and what they're trying to achieve, the more open they become. So if your messages look like emails, you're in trouble. If your messages look like WhatsApp conversations, you're in the right place. That's the right way. Now, there is one more way I can do outreach messages. And I'll just say, by the way, if you want a copy of this about building email list, happy to give you this, not the piece of card that I'm holding up, but the actual list of ways to grow your email list. Just drop me a message on LinkedIn or email us hi@maverick.io. And likewise, if you want to nail your social selling, whether you're a solopreneur, senior exec, or a salesperson or sales team, message hi@maverick.io and we will show you exactly how to nail it. To go from I'm getting nothing from LinkedIn to I'm getting consistent leads, meetings booked every single week, because we have a strategy that works and performs, whether you're in finance, whether you're in professional development, whether you're in tech, does not matter, because we're all doing the same thing, right? We're all trying to convince a human to talk to us. We forget that. On LinkedIn, we are trying to convince a human to give us some of their time. That's it. That's all we have to do. If we can convince humans to give us some of their time, it has to be worth it for them, we win. So all the nonsense that we get lost in about all the other stuff, we just got to convince a human or make a human curious enough to invest 30 minutes of their time. That's all we're doing on LinkedIn. The posts, the connecting, the messaging, that's it. And that's why our strategy crosses industries, because it's a human strategy, not an industry strategy. If we can convince a human, we're all the same generally. We're bags of water with feelings, right? That's what we are. We are bags of water with feelings. Anyway, my rant about humanity. So there's one more method that's really high impact, and I'm going to do it now. I might have to turn my camera off for this, Luke. So I don't know whether our guys in the control room can just minimize my camera and put me full screen, whether that can work. Hopefully it can. And I will flick my camera off. If you can put the share screen as full screen, that would be brill. Here we go. And then I can turn my camera off and turn my camera on. Don't worry, guys. I know what I'm doing. Most people worry that I don't know what I'm doing, but I do, except when the computer crashes, which it has done. So here we go. Hopefully you can see this, but at the moment my computer has crashed. So that was a quick recovery there because my computer literally crashed. So there is a tool called Loom, And I'll just show you what this looks like. And Will, I'm going to send you a Loom now. I'm not going to do it live on the screen, primarily because my computer literally locked up as soon as I did it then. But what I can do is I can record a video. And when I send it to Will, put a little note with it, send the Loom. Now, I'd record this Loom for Will personally. I haven't recorded it personally for Will right now, just because my computer would crash. But I would record a little Loom either on Will's profile, Will's website, a press release that Will had done, any of those things. I would share it. And as you can see, it presents a little animation of me talking on a background. This one is one I send to cybersecurity leaders in marketing and sales, and shows them how to build a funnel of leads all the way down. And you can see it here. But I would do this to Will. And again, the curiosity, if it's his website, his profile, his press release, any of those things, and it would be a 90 seconds to 2-minute video of me saying, hey, Will, thought I'd do a video, a bit more personal. You see, I'm talking to you, and this is not AI generated or any of that stuff. I was looking at your press release. I was on your website, spotted some of the things you're doing. I think there's a massive opportunity for you guys to grow. C Strategy Works has been around for coming up for 4 years, I think in January, and massive opportunity. If you're keen to grow, there is a huge opportunity for you on LinkedIn. And I just wanted to show you some of the things I'm seeing of where growth opportunities for you on LinkedIn. Would you be free for a chat Thursday too for half an hour? Show you what they are, show you my ideas. If they're a fit, maybe you can work together. If they're not a fit, I'll give you some food for thought. How's Thursday at 2 for you? That would be the biggest high impact message I could send, because it's so personal. It would get the highest number of responses. And I'll give you an example. A one-to-one personal Loom message like that. Our team are getting 17% meeting booking rate. So they go through some of the steps of social selling and they're getting 17%. That is unheard of, right? And they can get out 25 of them a week, right? 25 a week, right? So imagine how many meetings our sales team, our appointment developer team, who work upstairs actually, how many, excuse me, I'm going to sleep. It's not my day today, is it? How many of them we could actually generate if we just put the effort in? It takes them about an hour and a half, 2 hours to do all those messages, but that's a lot of meetings booked. It's a lot of meetings booked because it's ultra personal. And that's the impact of this. So just a quick reminder, because we're wrapping up in a minute, the 7 steps of social selling is a process to warm up your prospects before you make any form of ask. It increases the response rate. Then when you use voice messages, it increases it again because it creates more curiosity. Then you go one step further than that and you do the video message. It increases it again. And then finally, if you start to use a 3-line message, a compliment, an observation, and a question, that will start to unlock more responses and more meaningful conversations that then you follow up on, and then you make the ask. If you go in for the ask as part of the whole thing, you'll get a no. But if you draw in a reply and then make the ask, you'll get more yeses. And remember, this is not a 100% successful game. Sales is not 100% successful. Most sales success is in the 2 and 3% range. And what I'm talking about is if we can nudge that up a bit more, we can actually make that way more successful by going one-to-one. It's pretty old school to go one-to-one when you can have a robot to pummel people, but it's way more successful. You spending an hour and a half doing this these kind of approaches versus spending an hour and a half setting up some robot to do it for you and then ending up with 1 versus 10 or 20 or 17 or 10 or whatever your number is, you get more ROI from that hour and a half than the hour and a half tinkering with the robot. Yeah, I'm not against automation, by the way. I'm not against AI, but there is a time and a place for it, and it's not when you're talking to prospects. It's not when you're trying to book a meeting to use automation and all that kind of stuff. So, calls to action for you guys, right? If you want a copy of some of the slides and things I've shared, you need to drop us a message today. Go and message and say, I want a copy of the replay. I want a copy of some of the messages that were sent there. Go and drop us a line. Number 2, you want the 39 ways to grow your email list. Again, drop me a message or message the email on screen, hi@maverick.io. And finally, if you're ready to flipping nail this, right? 2024 is around the corner. If you're serious about social selling and making it work, let's get you on a program. Let's get your team trained. Let's get them knowing how to do it. When I train people, I go to their companies. This is one example. I go to their companies. I get them generating leads in real time. I get them talking to prospects in real time, because when you do it right, it doesn't have to take a long time. And that's the myth. If you do it right, it can happen really quickly. If you're a small business solopreneur, drop us a message. We've got a program for you to help you social sell better. But anybody who wants it, you can have our email list training tool, tips and everything there. Right, I'm done. I need a drink. I don't mean that kind of drink. I mean a cup of tea, because I'm British. So drop me a message. Go email us if you need any help in nailing your social selling for 2024. Will, thank you so much for being a willing participant. And hopefully I haven't got blocked by you or got you banned. So thank you for joining us, everybody. Check out what we're up to. If you want to nail your social selling, don't sit on the fence. Message in. Let's get this thing done. And thank you for joining. And see you again.
Dean's strategy helped me find clients. I created clients for my business with this program. It works.
My connections have grown, my reach has grown, my views have grown, and actually so has my business revenue. Over that 3-month period, I have actually signed up 3 new clients at a cost of £50,000. That's over just the 3-month period. So it's worth it.
Every single time there's a session, I just feel like it's just a golden moment. Every single session brings me something really new and really valuable, and I've started to attract high value client sales, which is wonderful, and it's really given our business a boost.
Dean Seddon and the Maverick team, what can I say? Apart from absolutely awesome.
The results have been amazing. We have had loads of incoming leads coming into our lead funnels and workflow processes on our website. And we've also built a really successful community around the content that we produce and push out into our LinkedIn channels. My team has also learned a lot from working with the team at Maverick, and they've also helped us really create fantastic events on LinkedIn.
I'm much more confident, and all of that, without a shadow of doubt, is down to the work and the training and support I've had from Dean and the rest of his team as part of the Accelerator course.
In terms of the training, Maverick have been absolutely fantastic. They've been so supportive. They've talked me through all the stages of what you have to do, why you have to do it, the benefits of doing it the way they tell us to do it. And I've gone from being with no social media to being actually addicted, because I can see what this can do for lead generation, generating new business. It's just been incredible, and Maverick have been superb throughout the whole process.
The guys at Maverick, they've been great. Dean and his team, very knowledgeable, wealth of experience, and we've had quite a few one-to-ones now that really taught us the depths, the nooks and crannies of LinkedIn, which none of us would have known before, and I think we can continue to use that going forward, and it's been great so far, and I hope to continue to use it as well.